Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Despicable Me. Well, the haters are at it again. Believe it or not, there are Khachaturian crazies. I mean, I never would have thought it. I've been accused of many, many awful, horrible things, and racism and ignorance and stupidity and viciousness and wanton amorality, but I've never been accused of prejudice against Armenians. I mean, it would never even occur to me to have a prejudice against Armenians. Some of my best friends are Armenians. Seriously, where does that come from? Well, I'll tell you where it came from. It's really kind of amusing. It came from the fact that I made a video called The Worst Russian Symphony Ever, which was about Khachaturian's Second Symphony. Now, I know, some people love Khachaturian's Second Symphony. And, some of you remonstrated with me and said that I should have done the Third Symphony. But I absolved the Third Symphony because it's called Symphony Poem. And because it's called Symphony Poem, he sort of absolved himself from dealing with trivial details like, form, for example, content. Anyway, so I did what I thought was a kind of humorous video on Khachaturian's Second, which I call the Attack of the Avon Lady, because it has this bell going bong, bong, that sounds just like the doorbell from the old Avon Cosmetics commercial. And I enacted the Attack of the Avon Lady in the course of the video. I'll stick a link to it down below if you want to watch it. It was really fun to do, and I just did random reviews from the Overflow Room video on Khachaturian that was quite flattering. Actually, I just pointed out that music in large forms wasn't his specialty, but his ballets are fabulous, and his shorter works are tuneful and colorful and fun to listen to. And, I get tremendous pleasure out of Khachaturian. But here's the thing. I pronounced his name Khachaturian. Why? Because it began with a KH. And actually, it had guttural suggestions. I thought it might be fun to do it that way. Actually, I did it both ways in the video, and I talked about that just as a joke. It was just supposed to be humorous, folks. That's all it was light humor. Well, apparently the humor was lost on some, because I got an email. Wait a minute, here it is, from let's see, Goki A. I don't know what this is. Gokeacola. That's who this person is. And this is what he got hysterical about. You ready? Your pronunciation of his name, Khachaturian's, in the beginning shows your prejudice. Huh? Prejudice? Okay. You, by all means, are not someone who needs to be critiquing any form of art. Just looking at you shows how classless and an uninspiring person you are. You have not contributed to anything in the world, yet you seem to think very highly of your insights. Those hard KH sounds would have worked better if he was Jewish and you were trying to use Hebrew. Well, okay, there we go. We have to bring that in, don't we? Actually, the hard KH sound had nothing to do with being Jewish. It had to do with Cyrillic and Russian, which I speak and studied. And, Russian has a hard KH sound, a ch sound, a guttural KH sound. And so that's what I was thinking of, because at the time he was a Soviet composer. Yes, he was Armenian, but he was a Soviet composer. So, it had nothing to do with being Jewish. But of course, that had to come out. And I found that actually especially repulsive in light of, recent events in Australia and what's going on there. It just blows my mind that, in something about a lighthearted romp through Khachaturian's Second Symphony, Jewish prejudice can rear its ugly head. I mean, people will find any possible way to work it into the discourse, which shows you just how warped they really are. I mean, it's really a disease. It's this anti-Semitism business. It's really, really screwed up. But anyway, the other accusations against me and all that stuff just shows that this person is completely ignorant of what I've done and who I am and what I'm trying to do and what we're doing together and all the fun we're having, because we are having such a good time. And it's so bizarre when some, bozo shows up and tries to, ruin the party. I get pissed at that. It's ridiculous. I mean, the Jewish business is bad enough, but to try and tell us that we have no business chuckling once in a while at Khachaturian's Second Symphony, or the attack of the Avon lady, however you want to do it, is just, it's just so sad. These people are so pathetic. But I had to raise that issue. I wanted to bring it up and share it with you because it just goes to show that there is nothing in the world, whether in music or in anything else, that is so trivial, so insignificant, so unimportant, so completely irrelevant to our daily lives that somebody can't get hysterical over it. I mean, of course, it's not irrelevant to their daily life. Well, more power to them. But boy, that is just so freaking sick. It's incredible. So there you have it. A brief exploration or sample of some of the fun commentary I get by people who really think that their opinions matter, that they're valid, that they have something to say to us. To me? Anyway, keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.